Addiction thinks in circles, whereas invention thinks in spirals.
Yes. Yes,
And
yes,
I
yes.
love it. And spiral is not one dot, it's actually one seed becoming bigger and bigger and bigger
Mhm.
and bigger and bigger and bigger.
So I'm grateful for that. And then two, just the pain just reminding me like this body is so amazing.
Where else can you go
Hmm.
other than inside? And
Hmm.
when you're so almost like forced to face yourself, you find lots of love. The topic. My astrologer says that, my mentor says that Chiron is in many ways representing a healthy Pisces
Hmm.
because it's so wounded and it heals.
Hmm.
That's why it's wounded healer.
Good. Very good.
Take that.
Taking it.
Morning, morning, morning.
Good morning.
How was life?
What
How
is
is
today?
he?
December 28th.
27th or 28th?
28th.
Damn. Wow.
Hey, did you have a
Almost
Merry
done.
Christmas?
Well, did you? With your tree on?
Yeah, it was good. Went to the beach.
Nice.
Mhm.
It's Santa in shorts. That's usually
We we
what we
call him
know of.
we call him Santa.
Santa. I love it. Well, you live in heaven. So how is Christmas out there? We'll never know. Us mortals.
It's good. It's good. We had friends visiting from Michigan. I think it was their first holiday season, like in somewhere warm. And so I kept asking them, I'm like, so how was Christmas in Hawaii? And they're like, yeah, it's kind of strange. It was like just space. It's like you feel disassociated a little bit. Um, and that's how we feel mostly. It's like holidays come and go, but they don't have as much pull and weight and emphasis and attention. Yeah.
The frequency.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah,
collective
this.
frequency that you get sucked in,
Mm-hmm.
which is this key, very much.
Yeah.
So your holidays are not stressful or full of melancholy or pain or sadness.
You still feel the morphic resonance of it. You still feel it, but it's just it's more distant. And because
Mm.
it's very pretty rural here, you're not like you're not like inundated by the frequencies of like uh, it's just typically a lot of stress around the holidays. Yeah.
Which was strange because I didn't feel that here this
Mm-hmm.
time, this year. I felt
Cool.
calm, very calm energy. City was so calm. And I was just talking to my neighbor yesterday, actually. She's like, how was your Christmas? And we were just like sitting outside with a bunch of bags, grocery bags. And I was like, well, great time to talk. Let's talk. And I'm lifting heavy both hands. And I was like, for some reason, this was so calm. Christmas was calm. Thanksgiving was different.
Mm.
And I think the Thanksgiving was just like a lot of expectation. Christmas was just like home, settled, grounded. And it's probably going to be very different for New Year as well. But city was so peaceful. It was really
Mm-hmm.
strange. And I liked
Well,
it. Yeah. Or
yeah.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, just gonna say we have our planets moving direct now, which helps with that. not retrograding. Yeah.
Gosh, I can't wait. Oh my God. It's like it takes my breath away of excitement and how this energy will feel totally different
What are you excited
after,
for most, like February or later months?
well, February most,
Mm-hmm.
because I've been living in a hell, which, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
I'm changing my way of understanding. It's not hell, it's just total chaos out of which a lot of things come out that are good too. So February, and then a lot of it is in our favor, how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the dooms
Yeah.
time coming. It's actually gonna push forward a lot of these things, and we're gonna feel this. So I'm very excited about it, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. You?
Fire horse. Yeah. I'm I'm trying to use this time to this is a really good jinky because I'm trying to use this time to settle in,
Mm,
to potentially like I mean, I don't know. I can't predict what exactly is coming, but I'm like there's an opportunity right now to enjoy the slowness, the stillness,
totally.
and not get wrapped up in preparations or pushing or making things harder than they need to be. Yeah. And I just got this book in the mail a week ago. It's called Good Inside by Becky Kennedy, and it goes into parenting tips, especially around emotionality. And her big thing is like shame.
Mm,
And so I'm reading about it, and I'm like applying it to the kids, and I'm like, oh my God, it's all shame. Like what happened to me, what happened to Carly, what we are doing to the kids a lot of times. Um,
wow.
and so yeah, I'm grateful for being able to see it in that way now, and then also have this time to. It's funny because when I'm as I'm unpacking shame, I'm finding more stillness on the other side of it because it's almost like shame is a tool of our own stress to kind of like have control over the situations that we find ourselves in or over our environment. And when you unpack shame, it's like there's not much to do. You know what I mean? Like there's not a whole lot there. So yeah, this one was fun. This is Carly's life work, line
Wow.
6. Yeah.
Wow. Very interesting.
Cancer.
Yeah. Um, so what did you find interesting about this for you as you were reading?
Yeah, the reminder of the auras was like just bringing it back to, I feel like early 2020, 2020, well, it's 2025, early 2025, most of 2024, it was like constantly feeling this collective energy and like, okay, yeah, we're in it. People are freaking out and um yeah, just bringing that back to my awareness. And I've heard of the term Maya, the illusion, but I didn't know like the way he applies it is the illusion of the morphic resonance actually, where
Mm,
we mistake thoughts and feelings and energy as our own when really it's like outside of us. And yeah, that was interesting too. um
mm.
what else?
So let's talk about stress.
Hmm. Oh, and interesting too. This is deeply tied in with um, the adrenal system. And when we had like a functional chiropractor that lived next door to us when we were in Michigan, and she's like, "Okay, I'll get some testing." She was having some health issues, and every time she went, she's like, "Your adrenals are fried." And then she'd go back. She'd try to do stuff, and she's like, "Your adrenals are still fried." And it was just like constant. And Carly's very restless in that way of finding activity to try to calm the chaos that she's feeling and combat the stress. So she's been on this journey of like understanding that her adrenals are fried and she needs to slow down, but it actually like deeply frustrates her. Like she was so annoyed that she's like, "You mean um my diagnosis, my medicine I have to take is stillness and rest?" Like
And it's her life work. I love it.
yeah, yeah.
Does she know about the ski?
Um I might have encouraged her to read it
Hmm.
like more than a year ago now. Um I might bring it up to her. I've been trying not to push Gene Keys onto her because she doesn't really resonate. I think she finds it too open. Not she like what she tells everybody is like she likes direction, like step one, step two, step three.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a Pisces wisdom. I'm trying not to
Yeah.
disturb the natural organic growth.
Hmm.
Well, beautiful. But I almost think that this key, the shadow of a stress, is like so unconscious most of the time that we don't
Hmm.
even know until, and I don't even know what does it mean when the adrenals are fried. What does that mean exactly?
So your adrenals are glands and they produce the fight or flight hormones,
Hmm.
and they're associated with most of the hormones in our body. So it's like thyroid, adrenals. Uh, yeah, I'm not an expert on this. Carly would know, but um, so when they're fried, they just been producing nonstop these like fight or flight hormones,
Ah, so
and so
fried,
this, yeah, the system
extreme,
itself is just like overburdened.
dysregulated.
Hmm.
I see. It sounded like they're dry, and I was like, how can they be dry? There must be something inside of it. I was like, fried, meaning you're totally operating out of total dysregulation of the body, which in that sense, you can't really settle in. So the restlessness and this like hormonal disbalance drives your life the way you think, behave, act.
Yeah.
And that's a constant stress. And that's such a good example of this shadow. And then the shadow didn't really resonate with me at all.
Hmm.
Um, And then I wondered because I had to kind of zoom out to figure out, okay, well, I do live in a very stressful environment. I have experienced stress and I have changed my whole life since I moved here. Totally.
Hmm.
As if I'm just putting this new suit that is then protecting me from this stress environment, which is why I became very private and I literally eliminated all the noise as much as possible in the studio where I live. So, I mean, the apartment.
Hmm.
And I was like, wow, I wasn't like this when I was in Las Vegas. It's a different noise, different energy. So something inside is asking. And then I thought about you guys moving from Michigan, a busy city, to a nature Hawaii. And I wondered what makes you move and relocate to a different environment, different frequency, that it's still localized, right? And what underneath that frequency and aura is also asking you to place yourself in the environment out of which you, whether you like it or not, become a product of. Product meaning you get influenced by, you get molded by.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was really interesting. So it's almost like there's this like inner mechanism that acts in intangible forms to really protect your inner
Yeah.
self, which is this seed
Mm-hmm.
of like, I have a path or whatever, centeredness or whatever. This is
Mm-hmm.
me. And for me to be me, I have to protect. So the aura literally to me means, okay, I have autonomy to protect myself from the environment that I'm in. And this is changing. And it changes every time I change. Literally, I change the complex that I live in. No joke. I'm a different person from the previous apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Totally
Mm-hmm.
different person.
Mm-hmm.
So it affects your environment, affects you hugely. Not only environment, the large city you live in, the place on earth that you habitate on. So how do you find this difference in the stress levels? And do you find some spaces, places activate more the shadow versus some that are helping you actually get into the gift rather than living in a shadow?
Yeah. It's a great question. Um, yeah, there's a lot of peace here. Um, Inherent stillness, slowing down. Um, and then of course there's pockets of stress or there's seasons of stress. Um, it's interesting that we were driving to Hilo to go to the beach uh 2 days ago, and my friend from Michigan was driving, and this almost never happens to me, so I was like reflecting on it. I was like, oh, that's interesting. But he had a lifted Tacoma truck, which is like typical local Hawaiian thing. And he passed like into oncoming traffic. I mean, he had room, but he passed into oncoming traffic and passed like 4 or 5 cars. And
Mm,
Alex, my buddy who's driving, was like, he's like, "Come on, dude, where's your aloha?" And he kept saying that. It was like his little joke. And it was funny, but he kept kind of bringing it up and was talking like he's like, if Taylor was if his wife wasn't in the car, he's like, I would have cut him off, gotten in the lane so he couldn't do it. And I was like, yeah, I had no desire. I wasn't thinking about that. Wasn't concerning me. And it's almost like he was already activated to involve himself in something that was stressful.
mhm,
And for him, it's kind of like protector or keeping the peace in a larger sense, like helping other people on the road. Um, yeah, I'm just thinking of different motivations that he might have to do that. But in talking about it and talking about, and then it's relating back to other experiences he's had when people have been aggressive and he's gotten involved. And I was like, yeah, when I was a kid, my mom did that and we got chased for a long period of time and it freaked me out. And he's like, oh, yeah, I got chased. I've been chased multiple times. And, one time he drove himself to the police station because he's like, so I'm like, think about it. Someone's just passing you. It seems rude. It disturbs you slightly. The moment you involve yourself, now it's like, how long did that chase
yeah.
last? And
Yeah.
then the energy of it, like the emotion in your body, like how long did that last? We don't know. Probably weeks, if not months. So it's like there's two things there. It's the environment. If you're in an environment like Miami traffic, where it's very, very fast paced, like in LA, it's like bad traffic, but as far as I've heard, it's not like people are going 90, 100 miles an hour on the highway. Maybe you could tell me if it's the same, but um, you're going to be affected by that whether you want to or not. And you can. be like, oh, I'm just gonna stay in the right lane and go a little bit slower and not, but it's like people are still honking at you or, swerving around you. You're still involved in it and you can maintain your sense of stillness as much as possible. And then you can move yourself to an environment that's much more rural. And actually, in Michigan, I would say it's quite a bit more rural than here on the island. It's more spread out. And if you drive up north, I mean, you could not see houses for, 10 minutes of driving. Um, and you can live up there and be isolated and then still have your pockets of stress that come up internally. Um, so yeah, but what we noticed is over time feeling calmer and then just, what we thought people meant by like Hawaii time and slowing down, it's not always clear cut. It's not black and white because some people like the speed still. Some people like to go. Usually it's like retired people that like to go 10 miles per hour below the speed limit. It's like, come
I
on. But
love it.
what you find here is that no one honks.
Yes.
And if they want to pass, they pass. And for the most part, do it in a safe, respectful way. But like just the fact that nobody honks, and we traveled to Vietnam and Thailand and I've been to Nepal and it's just like culture there that you have one hand on the wheel and the other hand is on the horn the whole
Hmm.
time.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and it's just like in that environment, I remember staying in Nepal in like the city center in Kathmandu and you're there in the daytime and you're hearing all the honking and you're like, okay, it's just part of it. And then in the night too, same thing, honking all night long. And then after a few days, it's like background noise. You forget it's even there. And to the point where I was there for a month that when I came back home, I was like, why is it so quiet like in the city? I'm like, why is it like people should be honking more? Like people got to know what's going on. It's funny how our environment can really shift our expectations. Yeah.
Totally. And it's also funny how you find yourself being at home in a random different environments, regardless of the noise or the frequencies and what the pull is. Because you
Hmm.
simply have, you see, it's like it shapes you hugely. Also, the environment inside your home, the
Hmm.
colors, the furniture, the
Yeah. Feng
forms,
shui. Hmm.
yeah, the textures, that the plants, like people,
Hmm. Yeah.
huge, huge effect. So true. We bend each other's realities. We mold each other's realities. Same way, like we contribute to the reality by just being at the specific frequency at the specific time of a day or a life, right? So I love that. This is where the togetherness comes in and like it almost brings the awareness of responsibility inside of you. If you really
Hmm.
zoom out and you think how you affect people around you.
Yeah.
I will never forget my grandma. My grandma passed away a couple years ago, and I remember she, in my culture, you don't complain. Like you do not tell your family that you're sick, that
Yeah.
you're laying
Hmm.
on a deathbed. It's like if you happen to stop by, then you will see. So they will, and especially since I moved here because they don't want to worry me. I get the intent, but at the same time, thank God I'm intuitive. And I had this urge over and over again. I, no joke, literally saved my mom's life many times by just, I would be in a capital city and this is like 4 hour a bus. You're talking 4 hour
Hmm.
bus to get to a different city where I come from. And I would head to work and suddenly out of blue, I'm like, I'm not going to work, I'm going home.
Hmm.
I called in sick, I don't care. Like there was this clear, boom, you have to go. And I go and literally I find my mom maybe an hour before she could have, it's like lost her life. So it's really weird. But I'm coming home. All this to say, I had this urge to go home and fly across the ocean. And I was like, I have to go now. I don't know why. It's just like, I have to go now. And I'm going out there and I'm going to see my grandparents, and my grandma is on a deathbed. And I'm like, wow.
Mm.
Well, first, the shock that I didn't know. Second, I came with, I'm entering into the room in which everybody, this darkness, thick,
Mm.
I can cut it, this dark cloud inside the room, everybody full of fear, everybody full of panic. I can cut it in circle in squares. It was so thick that it almost like absorbs you when you enter. It's so weird. And
Mm.
I'm coming with, which by the way, years before, I was so deep into Ram Dass and his approach to death, and I
Mhm.
find it fascinating. And I learned how to love the entire process of dying so much that I was faced with my first direct, that meant a lot, like direct death like that, that you can see the soul leaving in the body and the body deteriorating. And I came with such a different frequency to her. But she was in a panic. And as she was in a panic, oh, I have to do this. Where's the will, the testament, all these different things. We have to pay the bills. She was panicky, panicky, panicky. And I just grabbed her hand, literally. And I was like, let's talk. Like literally, as if this energy just absorbed with her. You can tell her shoulders almost relaxed. And then we talked. We talked about everything. My grandpa was there. My mom was there. They all loosened up. Like this massive amount of acceptance and love came. Light, shall I say. I don't know what it was, but I was able to loosen her up, that she could then laugh with us together, smile. A couple months later, I left. And then I would come back and visit her, and she had her last wishes to, I drove her to her village where she was born. I drove her to a tree where she played with her twin sister when she was, and the memories just start coming back.
Mhm.
And that was the first time. And I go home every year for 15 years. I've been going home. I have never got a white rental. This is the first time I got a white rental car.
Mm.
And I'm driving her in the front seat, and she's just telling me where she wants to go. And I'm like, I was just in awe of the process. But all this to say, this energy, once released from stress and fears, can be so light for in a large space and all the souls inside. Like people crave this. I almost feel like they need it so much, but you can't pass when you are so restless, right? Or so extreme into a dysregulation of the frequency. And your body enhances it and your environment enhances it as well. So it's such a, almost like you can't see, the veil is thick so much that you cannot find your center and your light and your seed inside deeply. So it reminded me on that story too. And I was like, wow, not that
Mm.
I consider myself a being of light all the time. I have my stresses too, but that was so powerful to her. I can see the shift. And then she passed away 2 months after I left. So
Mm. That's
very
beautiful.
interesting story. Yeah.
Yeah, the truth is that we're all beings of light, and we just have things that get in the way of the light, so we don't see it, and we don't think that we have it
Well,
in ourselves. Yeah.
well said. So hopefully
But this is
2027 will help us. The gods are coming.
but yeah, this it's like it reminds me of presence, stillness, presence, very closely tied together. And what you did is took her by the hands, physically connected, and then made direct eye contact and did so in a way of not my worries or my concerns or my fears or my expectations, but hi, what do you need? What can I help you
Yes.
with? What would you like to offload? What would you like to talk about? And that's just like pure presence. And that has such power to transmute and transform energies that are moving around and stuck, and you don't know what to, like she was just feeling anxious, right? It's a new experience. How do you die? What does that look
Hmm.
like? And I just want to be with someone who can hold that space instead of interacting with their fear, interacting with them trying to make me so comfortable that I'm uncomfortable by it or whatever it is. Yeah, that's huge. And I think
Yeah.
about when I asked you, like, how can I, I don't know the exact question, but it was like, how can I work on my chart or what would be a good starting point for me in the astrology? And you said your moon is the big thing. And more and more lately, it's a little bit
Mm.
off topic, but maybe you'll see how it connects. Um, you mentioned environment, right? And I'm like, okay, Taurus moon. Hmm. Yeah, I do like nice shit. Just
Nice
admitting,
shit.
like, oh, I do like nice things. And wow, I've really deprived myself of that emotional stability that I can find through material things because in my spiritual seeking, it felt almost like sacrilegious to be material in any form. And I got such a kick out of traveling Europe with just a backpack and not having a lot of money and roughing it, and thought that was like, on a subconscious level, thought that was like going to help initiate me into some sainthood, or we have these
Hmm.
things. And now there's like this wisdom behind Taurus moon of being more aware that, oh, okay, when I upgrade the office, I approach my work with different energy. And then now when I leave my home, I can carry that with me. I can carry that stability and that presence with me. And so just been reflecting on that with this gene key, like you said, like the feng shui, the materials, the
Mm.
the quality of the thing. Like and it's simple things too. It's like instead of the cheapest option, it, it might not be the highest priced option, but I might just be looking at like what actually has true quality here that it's gonna be worthy of the investment instead of minimizing cost as being like the primary driver, which I grew up under. My family is German, and it's like it's always about saving money and preserving wealth, and all of that emphasis and energy placed around saving for a rainy day. And uh, I think Richard talks about this, and other people talk about this. Um, the purpose of prosperity is that you always have enough, and you step into the energy of prosperity, of trust, and the ability to be present, and stability and stillness. Like that is emanating out from abundance, whereas wealth is about hoarding. It's like the dragon's lair, it's about hoarding and protecting, but it also comes with stressors of like, okay, now I need security cameras, now I need a safe, now I need this, now I need guards, and then who's gonna watch the guards? How do I know if they're telling the truth or if they're gonna steal stuff from me? It's like I played this out a few times around what does it mean to be the king, and is that really something that you want in life, or does that come with its own unique set of challenges and burdens that you know are only befitting of a certain individual who can handle that, and also hold themselves in an honorable place and still serve and protect. Anyway, I'm like big rabbit trail. Hi,
No, I
puppy.
follow. Gosh. I follow, and I want to add to that too. And I want to add another layer,
Okay, I like layers.
your a deeper layer that ties back to this key. Your Taurus, you're very aligned to the natural zodiacal wheel as an Aries rising. So your Taurus
Hmm.
moon is either in the second on the or the third house in a Placidus tropical system of right. So not whole sign, but so you have material values and then you have intellectual values.
Hmm.
And when I say value, value is also the heart, the soul, the love, family, home, material side too. And when we sit, this is where you live. This is what you almost identify with too. And
Hmm.
to find your center and who you are, you have to know what works for you. And this is where, I have this friend of mine, Kelly, astrologer. She cannot stand the typical, she calls it a trendy astrology, which is just so sun sign and so direct,
Yeah.
almost like it doesn't open the space for you to contemplate and add on because that's why we're all evolutionary because we evolve and we become just more complex. So we need to add more to what we know. It's not just this box.
Hmm. Hmm.
But for you to find your moon, your soul, and I'm talking underneath the layers of the programming that are bringing us the stress all the time. You actually have to learn what it feels home for you. And only then you can then deflect or almost like reject all the influences. So that way you can find your center or you can find your path or your seed or your light in it. So to me, it's absolutely necessary that you test and that we especially the test to see what makes you find that value. Taurus is full of self-worth. That's the second house
Hmm.
that has literally the second step of your development. I am worth something. And if I am worth what I identify myself with, I'm going to find my worth through finding what works for me and having material possessions. My mom is Taurus. Like this woman is not worth the house she lives in,
Hmm.
but the amount of peace and serenity that she goes to bed knowing she owns the home, she has the clothing, and
Yeah.
she does not wear the new clothes I buy her. She wears old clothes my first, second, third grade. She's becoming smaller. So now she actually can wear my clothes from my first, second grade. Literally, no joke. I was like, holy crap. Like, this is 40 years old. And she's not hoarding it. It means it has an emotional value to
Has
her.
value. Yeah.
Yes. Do you see what I'm saying? So there's so much value in the Taurus moon that you're to discover, and you have to try, is it material? Is it emotional? Is it intellectual? Is it spiritual?
Yeah.
All of this is the Taurus, but it's
Yeah.
worth. That's your worth. And only then you can be like, okay, well, I know what I need. And then I know what causes me stress and what causes my soul stress, even deeper, that layer of the something that when you're shed of all these layers that you learned how to do, what is left? You said, what is left? What's left is your light, your essence. Get when you
Hmm.
get to the essence, and us Pisces, we go to the essence directly. Like you're talking about the presence. What is presence? It's like I'm able to touch your soul. I'm able to connect my soul to your soul where we become one. Oneness touches the essence to essence, directly there into the center. Forget about identification and who you are and what's your name. No, I want your soul.
Hmm. Yeah.
Presence is touching so deeply one another. It's like, I'm here for you, with you, I am you.
Hmm.
And to do
And
that, oh, go ahead.
sorry, no, I cut you off.
To do that we need to recognize that there are many layers that are stressing us out. And it's not selfish, it's necessary to find your ways to come to the center and come back to the center. It's not selfish to say, I don't want to hang out with these people. I don't want to listen to this music. I refuse. I simply discern and refuse to to fall under the influence of frequencies that are not mine, not mine,
Yeah.
not for
Hmm.
me.
Yeah. Yeah. And presence too. The typical association we have is us and another with presence.
Mm.
But there's different manifestations. It can be us in a group, or it could be us to us. It could be self to self, that present, the internal presence that we have. And where I find this the most is in dancing. I know I talk about this a lot,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but it comes up. I So we went to this is the first time I've been to a night dance on Friday with my friends who were visiting because they were staying at this place and the same place hosts the dance. So I was like, sure, I'll go, you know. Typically we don't because we're in bed at like 7:30. And I went and it was like a little bit older crowd and it was more spread out and it was very people were not, it was a very like, you know,
Blah.
like yeah.
Yeah.
And the shadow for 20 for Jinky 20 is superficiality.
Mm.
And so like you enter into this superficial space of self-judgment, judgment around others, critique around like the music or how no one's really into it, how and then I'm like, okay, shift it aside. What's happening for me? What's here for me right now? How can I move more with the music? How can I create what I want to see? Because if I'm not enjoying it, how can I be the catalyst or the activator? And pretty quickly, within like 20 minutes of just moving and then just like asking myself, um, can I move a little bit more energy? And this is something I learned from Parangi and his wife. They tour around, they do music, and they have a guided hour long music and you're supposed to dance with it. And in the beginning, she's like, how much energy can you move? Like, this is the question. This is the contemplation. And so you're in the song, and it's really just like you're feeling superficial, you're feeling judgment, you're feeling critique, you're feeling like you don't like someone's vibe or like this person shouldn't be here. Move the energy with your body, and then through that, anything in your environment can become a catalyst for activation. And it's funny how we think the perfect circumstances or the perfect environment will create what we want to feel and to see inside of us. And in reality, it's
Mm.
like it is perfect. If we're able
Mm.
to tune in to what's happening and move it around and do something with it. And I find for some reason I find connection between dance and movement and like this concept of energy with stillness because in reality like they talk about as we get into the city the void or the spaceless space it's much easier to find through a lot of movement or a lot of energy or a lot of motion and there's always everything is always changing it's always moving it's always dynamic and it's interesting how in the Codon ring the ring of seeking there is all these active elements like the dynamism. Let me just peek. Yeah.
Mm.
But then
Yeah, I
there's
highlighted
but
them.
then there's also here the
Magnetism.
magnetism, dynamism. But then here we have
Expansion.
52 restraint. Yeah. This is a good one. Yeah.
I like that. So what you're saying is that you don't have to have the perfect environment you're sitting in to be still and be still physically on a bodily level. You can also move in the you what it sounds like you entered your body was in the environment that was so superficial that you felt you got absorbed by almost like
Yeah, the
superficiality of just
auras.
like blase
Yeah.
move, no care, no
Mm-hmm.
depth. And then in that right moment, what you're saying is that you can move this exact impact on you, this energy, these feelings, these emotions of shame and like, contractions and everybody's looking at me. You can move them in the body in order to find and kind of release them from it. And I love that because there's no one way of doing this. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
if you really think about the energy,
55.
we're getting there.
Yeah.
If you really think about the energy, it is form, free of form. It is free flowing, can never be
Mm-hmm.
comes and goes and moves and changes. It becomes dense and thinner, like right. So it actually needs lots of space to just be and not ever form into something.
Yeah.
And when it forms into something, it becomes a planet, a
Yeah.
rock, unmovable freaking rock, right? So
Mm-hmm.
while it's in a free flow, it reminded me of how he says like it is bound to come to its extremes and
Mm.
oscillate between the polar opposites of itself. And I love that because as it bounces off and he literally touches this stillness at the extreme points before it turns in the opposition. That's how I understood it. And I had this infinity sign in my as an image that yeah, it's like it literally comes into the extreme of one opposite and then it goes back. But there are these moments of gaps before it turns literally these gaps that he's talking about as well. How I understood it was in the other previous keys. It's like this is Osho actually. Now I'm mixing the two. But
Mm-hmm.
these moments of oscillation before the energy turns different direction
Right.
is where the gaps of void can be or nothingness, where everything just stops.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly you experience something unexplainable. And I love that. So to close this a long-winded way of explaining that there's not one way because the moment we place ourselves in a structure is the moment where the flow and the freedom no longer exists to become
Mm-hmm.
whatever that he wants to become. So if I'm saying, and even that when you're talking about the moon in Taurus, like even natal map of astrology and all the mythology and possibilities of open-mindedness evolves, which means it never is so because just because it's mapped out there. It's always it's almost like you have to be able to open a large space for the unknown so that way you can find out later. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not just the Taurus moon, it's everything else, plus more that you don't know. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, um, just be the space and allow it. Can you
Yeah,
be
and
the space?
I've been reflecting too on it's the natal chart is a useful tool, but we're meant to transcend the qualities of like the density of okay, so I'm this way and then I'm gonna act like this in this environment and I need to have this as my partner and it's like no, not true. This is just where we find our tendencies and where we find our struggles and how we can just gives you tools.
Mm,
Um yeah. And of course, we only have potentially a mote of understanding of the true, like you said. the true awareness of the influences and what everything means and how it all comes together. Our
Hmm.
our
Hmm.
human awareness of what's happening between the planets and how it interacts and affects us. Yeah, and the stars.
And the natal chart is just the moment in the past, the moment you were born on. And then you have
Right.
to build on top of it. And I love how Marina Abramovic comes in and says, I don't give a shit about the past. I don't have time to think about the past. I'm now in the present and I have so much work to do. It's like
Yeah.
I've done what I've done in the past, got there and critique it, but I moved on. I'm now here and I have
Mm-hmm.
no time to die. And I love that because it's so true. Even natal chart is the moment in the past that just marked you one way.
Yeah.
And on that, you build on top of everything. So
Mm-hmm.
I love.
Yeah. Now here, nowhere. Now here, nowhere. Now here, nowhere. You got it?
I did, but I don't know why you said that. I'm trying to
Because
say
you're
what's
talking
behind
about
it.
Marina talking about presence, and
Mm.
I'm now here and nowhere, the
Ah,
void, the
ah, ah.
space. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
interesting because intellectually we long for structure and for a path and for the boundaries and like the square, you know? And that's what I find through movement is I'm intellectually going into a void while so much is happening energetically and through my body. And then after my body wants this deep rest and stillness and my mind is off and playing and free and able to move. It's like you said, it's dynamic and it's never the same thing. And I've been reflecting so much about dancing lately because I really love it. And I just can't stop talking about it really. But
Mm,
but I was like reflecting with Carly. I was like, oh, you know what? The first time I really felt this with dancing, where I'm like, I love it. Like it's just like something in it was when we were in Vegas before we met you. And I had looked at Parangi's touring after because I'm like, we gotta go back. I gotta do this again. And he had like a retreat and he had like a membership group and I applied. And then in a questionnaire, he said, what best describes you? And there was only like three or four options, and it was musician, singer, dancer, and I forget what the other thing was. And I was looking, I'm like, well, I wouldn't typically choose any of those before, but I guess I'll pick dancer. And I took this as identity and I started to talk about it a little too much. I started to like create too much structure around what that meant. And then it almost like scared me out of
mm.
what was so freeing about it. And I kind of lost it for the last 3 years now. And then now just finding it again and finding it in a place of freedom and how it changes so much. Like, okay, it looks very different each time. The DJs, of course, are different. Like the environment's different. The people are different. But also, whatever I find within myself is different. And what I need is different. And just having the freedom to approach it in that way instead of saying, like, I dance, this is how I dance, this is what feels good, because I don't know. And when I get too stagnant, it kills it. It kills the momentum and it kills the energy of what's actually moving us. And I think this metaphor applies to the things that we find resonance in our hobbies, in our work, in our love. Yep.
And where, how do you find and discover stillness in this?
So through dancing,
Through this energetic
free
aliveness.
flowing. Hmm.
Hmm.
And the
And just sorry,
yeah.
just to add a little background on it, why I say because you feel alive, you are actually full of vitality and energy inside of you that it's free flowing, which means you are in a state of regulative openness. So
Mm,
when we move into the gift and the energy is sensed in the body, we're actually aware of it. We're able to be aware because we're not, the fears are actually aside, placed aside. They're no longer impacting you and the stress is no longer present. You cannot be sensing your vitality and energetic flow of freedom inside of you, that something inside of you moves when you're full of stress. It's not going to happen. So
yes.
in these movements, you release the stagnation and you open a lot of space for something to come and touch you and form you and transform you and transmute you, whatever that it is. So how do you find stillness as the city level through that activation of the gift? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's talk about stillness and then we'll talk about the balance between the two opposites.
sure. Yeah, what I'm really finding is with being Aries rising, Aries ascendant, it's like this is my one way to like completely turn this off.
Mm,
And what it happens, so it's like superficiality, presence within my body, and then it kind of undulates. But if I stay with it and continue to feel this sense of freedom and like just playing, because if I was too regimented about how it happens, how I let go of like the intellectual grasping, then I would find myself in a new corner of my mind where it feels safe, right? It's like, oh, I can be superficial over here, or in a corner of my mind that is so fearful that it takes me out of presence completely. And I don't know what motivates that, but when I can just stay with it and just play, like, okay, I'm feeling superficial again. And I have developed like a trick, one trick, and I was trying to tell my friend who's very Capricorn. I'm like, just spin and just keep spinning and be okay if you fall down, or most likely what's going to happen, you'll stop yourself and you'll be dizzy. And when you're dizzy, this won't be working. And then all of a
mm,
sudden your body will kind of do things that it's like typically when you see people spin, like if they're doing the baseball game and they try to run in a straight line, they're like
mhm,
falling over, their body's kind of doing this. It's like it's it's learning how the body wants to move, and spinning dizzies your mind so that your body opens up in ways that you typically would say like I can't dance that way, or that would look weird, or it's like that's a trick that I have.
mm, mm, mm.
Like
Nice trick.
it's a good one. Yeah. Uh I just spun myself in a circle.
Okay,
What
let
was
me
the
bring you
question?
back. So when you have the openness in your body, and we're not talking about the mind. Mind releases its tension and a grip of placing the fear upon you, right? So you
Mm,
move into the state of regulative mind, it can rest and relax a little bit. You move your body into the space of regulated regulation so much so that you can open up to experience. You can open up to life experience. And then you
mm,
enter into it. And here is where I find interesting dynamic with the gift versus the CD is that he touches how the gift is almost like you have to be so tuned in and patiently notice what is happening without trying to control its outcome and speed. That's how
mm,
I understood it. It's like your mind wants to tell you what to do, how fast, wants to get there real fast. But if you really put your mind at ease, let it sit for a second, have a coffee, and allow yourself like moment to just notice what is happening and see if you can patiently wait for the outcome. And this, why I say, comes with the idea. When inspiration comes and flows as a wave through body, dare to let it organically unfold, which might take a much longer time, which is that restraint that he's talking about, rather than wanting to grab it, wanting to do something about it, and wanting to put it
Mm-hmm.
in a form and to make money off of it just literally within 2 hours of it, right? So we have failed over and over again, you and I specifically on this, because we tried 2 times to do it and it's not working. Simply, it's not working. It
Mm-hmm.
needs time and space to develop itself. And this is where this restraint comes with you holding patiently space for it
Mm-hmm.
inside, being open to let it come and leave you and come back again and leave you. Yes, you have to action on the idea and make the magic reality, but at the same time, for your true seed, for your path to evolve, this is why the outer planets are slower and longer in impact, but they're literally concretizing into your almost like genes. Like they're
Mm-hmm.
changing you fundamentally. They change your base. So when you really open your body, your space to receive what there is for you to be true, you will not know what that is in that moment, but restrain yourself from trying to control it and allow patience and space for it to come and go and mold you.
Mm-hmm.
These are this is so many prerequisites for that just simple occurrence to happen. And in that moment is where the gift and stillness, to me, restraint and stillness comes in and be like, oh, last night, I'll just give the example. Last night I was walking my dog in the dark of the night, and I have this sense around me. Like there's this like sense of something is happening and I don't know what it is. And something is up, upon, around. And I'm not afraid of it. That I know, clear. I don't know how to dance with it. I don't know how to meet it. I don't know, can't touch it, but it's around. And then there's a sense of it coming closer and closer as if it's entering and coming closer to the center. And I know for this to happen, I have to believe in it and trust it, trust its path towards me and remain open for whenever you decide to come enter me, into me, become me, melt with me, I sure will be ready and open. And for that, it takes time. And I know what I do now is meant for much later. And I always come back to, oh my God. So in that right moment, I had looked up the sky and I saw the star. And I was like, wow, there's this sense of vastness that just came upon me. And I was aware on, I'm talking like space around me. I was aware on a larger scale of
Mm-hmm.
the vastness of everything around me just because I looked up in that right moment. I started crying. I was so
Mm-hmm.
touched by the vastness that I was afraid and honored. And it was this like, I started crying. And at the same time, I had the music on and I was just listening to the perfect song for it. Everything aligned. And I was like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
experiencing vastness of like space. I am here and I am so lucky. And suddenly the grace came in to be the grace that I was so thankful, not even thankful in the mind, almost like grace. I was touched by humility of how small I am, yet I'm here present, alive. I'm experiencing and witnessing myself in it. It was just so big. I couldn't do anything about it rather than just cry tears of joy. The
Mm-hmm.
paradox, the huge oscillation. So it was that
Yeah.
moment of stillness that enlarged me so much into the trust and belief in myself and the universe together,
Mm-hmm.
participating. And was everything, and that I never can plan, I never can structure, I never can put and schedule, I never can meditate myself into it. These moments occur, and when they occur,
Stay open.
yeah, and there are moments of gasping air out and awe, right? So, and I don't even know how to explain them, right? But this was very new to me. I've never experienced it to that extent. And yet I live in a city which is very busy and full of chaotic energy. So
Hmm.
it's possible.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
prepare. Believe in it, and trust it, right? Let it happen.
Yeah. And so preparation for you is learning to trust. How would you describe preparation?
Well, I trust my intuition more than I trust anybody else.
Hmm.
Even if I'm failing at it, even if I'm failing, because if I'm to make a mistake, it must be for my betterment. There's something
Hmm.
inside of me that tells me no matter what step you make, as long as it's in the integrity of the heart, it's for the benevolence of you. And me, in my case, this I consider, I don't know why I have to leave my country. I don't know why I'm falling in love with this person. I don't know why I'm melting into the unknowns more. I don't know why I feel this wave of creation. I never know. I literally never know. I always feel my way through it. So something inside of me is intuitively guiding me, and I trust that inner sense more than anything else. Which is why I went to astrology, because it's like, how come? Like, if I'm alone in all of that, and now I'm thinking there must be others. Like, absolutely not. I cannot be alone on my own, just being me. I must be feeding in some field out there and random souls all over the world where we're just like kind of communicating at that level. It must be. I cannot sustain alone like this. I am feeding into something else. So if I feel the vastness and this much space, there must be people feeling it and other souls feeling it. I'm almost certain. Why?
Hmm.
How? I don't know. I just feel it. So the preparation is more and more trust into that seed, that place, and very much not disregarding what the mind says, but allow it to just do its own thing and not identify with the thoughts.
Does sharing the experience create more expansion?
Yeah. Oh, so much. You know why?
Hmm.
Because I learn what it feels to be you. You know, it's not me you're looking at. You see yourself in me. What
Hmm.
does that mean? Actually, what does it mean to become you? Why am I here the same like you here? But yet we're very different here. How does it feel to be the one,
Hmm.
to be the whole, where we are all united? How does that feel?
Hmm.
So, when shared with that level, I no longer am. I am you, you're
Hmm.
me, we're together one, literally merged. If death feels like this, wow. Because literally, what is death if you really think? It's just release of this,
Hmm.
release of this, which he says we're using this artificial enhancements just to loosen up a little bit so you can open to creation, you can open to possibilities, to your own potential. And yet to
Hmm.
put this big of a vast universe into this one space between your ears is just, you have to compress it. You literally have to limit its vastness and space into just this school.
Mm.
So to share myself with you who gets it on that level feeds me. Not only
Mm.
I have so much energy after that, like you and I literally, like I told this to my mom and I said, gosh, thank you so much for existing because you believe in me so much more than I am yet capable of believing in myself. And you see in me something I don't, but we meet at that level. When I merge with you in love on a soul level, I'm bonded with you forever. I'm not
Mm.
talking about hormones and sexual
Right.
arousal and bodily, fluids exchanged. No,
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking, imagine if I can create something of a greater power together with you on a soul level that it's benevolent. And how do you know it's benevolent? What is the universal love? What is the actual unconditional love? I will tell you something, you call me crazy. I believe unconditional love is possible to be felt with persona sitting on your head that sips on coffee while you're in deeply inside. And we think that it's only done between the parent and a child. But yet we have an example, we have a sample how this feels. And yet we're limiting ourselves to think that that's the only way to feel unconditional love. But yet, if you go down deeper into that soul, when I become you, there's nothing conditional in it.
Mm-hmm.
I get so
Mm-hmm.
lit up when I think about this and feel like literally I don't want to be here anymore. I want to get there. But
You are
okay.
there.
Yeah, yeah. Right. So it's like it's pushing me, pulling me. It's such a passionate tension, fruitful. And he says, two seeds are the same size, but one turns to, what did he say?
Mm-hmm.
A tree,
Sunflower versus the yew tree. Yeah.
sunflower, which is fast, and the other turns into a big tree, which lasts centuries.
Mm-hmm.
Huge.
Mm-hmm.
So find the seed. And what's the rush?
Mm-hmm.
Take it slowly, slowly, sip on it, marinate, germinate.
Mm.
See? Come back to the tree and the seed. That seed requires special environment to germinate perfectly. Comes back
Mm.
down to be, where is your awareness? Really, you have so much work to do inside and discuss. So much discovery, venture, journey, here, inside. When do I have time to think about you? I want to be me, so me that I want to meet you there. I want to get in and meet you there.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter how many diplomas you have. I really don't have time even to think about it. I don't give a shit. I have a lot of work to do now
Yeah.
for the sake of my own evolution, which is future. I believe, I deeply feel there's so much more. Oh, more of this. And I don't feel there's an ending. There's not a sense of ending of, oh, as a poof away. No, absolutely not. It's not even an option. That my soul is just gonna die out. It's not even an option. Can't. So I shall continue.
Yeah. And in true presence, transcends time. So you, I think, yeah, your conviction about not ending, I think, is because you're tasting infinity in the stillness, in the, of course, paradoxical,
Mm.
going deep, going in. And two, you mentioned seeking, trying to find the edges so that you can experience this. And for all that you said that was beautiful, I just had this nuance around. I found that it's not in the seeking where I experience this presence. It's somewhere on the edges of the seeking or in between.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's to the extreme. It's a fruitful tension
Hmm.
when things switch.
Hmm.
And what is really the edge when you really think about it? How do you experience the edging?
Yeah. So, black hole, the torus field, to me, like that is, did you get that part in the city? To me, that is the edge.
Mm.
You found an edge, or so you think.
Mm.
You
I was
stay
just
at
about
the edge. Yeah. And of course, infinity is still on the other side.
it's a liminal space
Hmm.
of knowing that you reached the end of what you know, and in front of you is what you don't know. It's right there.
Hmm.
Liminal. Not here, not there. But yet you sense both. So good. So good. So good.
Hmm.
Sometimes I can't take it in the body. I literally cannot take it.
I know, I'm feeling it too. Back of my neck is burning.
Mhm. But notice, do you have elevated feeling or energy of elevation rather than fear or depression, right? So it's like, this is where I'm like, I'm too excited about this. But to get to the infinity, I still have to edge, continue expanding and growing capacity and taking more space, meaning, like, okay, I've reached my limit for now.
Hmm.
We actually don't know where we end. And we don't know. If I ask you, where is your end? Where are your edges of your energy? No clue. So why limit it? Is my point. Is like, why limit it?
Hmm.
Why not dare? Just try and feel how it does it feel to be big in space? And where do you stop?
Hmm.
That's
I'm
why it's
so
like, I can't
grateful.
take it.
I'm so grateful for this.
So, to ease our way through it, let's come back to the earth. I am Milica. This is Eric. We're doing Jinky 52. And we're anchoring into this book of knowledge out of which we flew off many times and came back to. So now I feel regulated. Such an edge, right? So, and that's why it's like the big, the small, the big, so within, so out, right? So it's like, but we really can do both and dance with that exact moment rather than living here.
Hmm. If you have another moment to stay expanded,
Right now or just in general?
hmm yes.
Both. What's the question? Is there a question?
You tell me, is there a question?
No, there's an
If you
answer.
have, yes, go ahead.
I will burst.
Mm, so burst.
I will disappear.
hmm
But I don't want to disappear yet. I really want to like live in this chaotic energy. I really do. I do. I do. I do want to stay here. I want to come back in 3D and I want to suffer a little bit more because I'm
mm,
preparing. True. So, full honesty.
mm,
I don't want to float off yet.
mm. I'll take the floating when I can, because I feel that life pulls me in when it needs to. Of course, having children and a business and a wife and responsibilities. So,
I see.
yeah, enjoying the floating. And I'm contemplating, like, deeply, deeply contemplating that this is endless, right? So, what is endless is also beginningless. Therefore, what I'm returning back to, rooting into, or trying to bridge is Maya, is illusion. So, yeah, if that's the chaos that we are actually seeking, then of course, let's fully embrace it. This potentially feels like the deepest I've yet I've yet to feel here and now. And I'm
Consciously.
grateful. Mhm. Let me tell you about a dream I had last night. I got invited over and over, and I was having a debate with this person. They were like, have you done an ultra marathon before? I was like, no. They said, okay, I want you to come and do one with me on Tuesday. I'm like, Tuesday? Okay. I don't run. I was having this like discussion, trying to reason my way out. And they had this, it was actually two people. It was like my cousin who's a female, and then my not like super close friend, but someone that we know who's a male. And he was kind of leading the conversation, but she was supporting energetically around this conviction that the ultra marathon, the trial of it, the attempt of it, will do something to you. It is necessary for what? I don't know. That's the unknown part. And I was having this debate trying to reason through it with them so they could see that it was an unreasonable request, meaning I don't run. There's a high likelihood I'll get injured. Um, what about all of these factors that typically go into preparation around such an endeavor? And the energy they were holding was the point isn't about the approach, the preparation, or the outcome. The point is about you finding something within yourself in the attempt itself. Meanwhile, I was freaking out in the dream.
Well.
So for some reason, that feels really relevant to this conversation.
How come?
Perhaps you, when you were walking your dog and touched some unified field or unity consciousness or bliss or grace, you were invited into an experience that expanded you beyond your current known present state and what was possible. So you got to push your edge out a little bit further. And the paradox of this toric field of yin and yang blending the two. The edge is a blend and it's infinite on both sides.
Mhm.
The invitation then being energetically to allow as much as you can and continue in that state of stillness and presence. And what you said, grace, is a beautiful word. But we think we need to prepare, or we think we're not ready, or we think that, well, we're only on 52 and there's 64, or you name it. Or we have an idea of what we might accomplish in our lives. We have an idea of impact we might be able to generate in the future. We were told something about our path, or, we hold these beliefs. And at each instant and each moment, we can just explode. Like, the fear there being, will I lose it all? And in the exploding, it's answered. The paradox, this feeling. I'm floating a lot, so you're welcome to bring things back down.
I love when you float. Does it feel natural, organic, home to you?
Um, it feels, yes, organic and natural. It's tough because every concept and idea is trying to capture it. So, yeah,
Come on, let me bring
it
you back to
is.
earth. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say it is natural. It is organic. There's also the sensation of my cells vibrating out of existence. Like, what is natural about that? What is organic? Yeah.
Your whole spiel changes when you float. Everything changes.
Hmm.
Everything. The way you talk, how you talk, your words, how calm you get, your shoulders, everything. Can you hold both worlds in the exact same moment of awareness and presence?
I don't think totally you can. Doesn't feel like it to me. I can hear my heartbeat now, and I felt a return.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, so now the awareness is like, oh, this is different feeling in the body versus out there when we float. And ironically, this too is a preparation to actually multiply the senses and multiply the awareness to be in a different realms at the same time.
Mm. Mm.
Preparation. And you're saying there's no preparation, it can hit you out of blue. True. Absolutely true.
Yeah.
But also when you really zoom out and you retroactively go back to your whole evolution or potential, where you've been like you prepared for this exact
Mm.
floating while you're so aware that you're in a body, being witnessed on earth, so much more.
And then I'm thinking of, and then dot dot dot.
To be continued. It never ends.
Yeah.
It just gets bigger. So go big or go home. I my mom has a big wisdom. And sometimes she just has things that I don't think she's actually aware. And they're so deep and so big that it's shocking, right? So these shockers just come out of her and she's on a flow. And when she goes, it's like, oh my God, this is my mom is in the body, but there's something else is there right now. And she said, in life, to get something, you have to want a lot of things. Meaning, to get something in life that you want, you have to want way more of what you're getting. Try it.
Um,
Meaning, don't want more material things. True, you can get that too, but ask for a lot more. Ask
yeah.
yourself for more. Dare for more, way more than what you think you need.
Yeah, there's a resonant truth there, which is this is more linear and not as wide. Like I think you're referring to more as being like wider. And I think Richard talks about this too with the difference between wealth and prosperity. Prosperity
Mm,
being like, let me open up to the realm of possibility instead of saying it's going to be my business, how much money I make from that, and this path that will sustain me. There's actually this opening of it can come from anywhere and it can show up as
mhm,
anything. But if I'm open to it, it will happen when it needs to. There's that element. And then there's this side, this more linear understanding directly from business. I heard this from someone who's actually deep in AI. They have an AI agency. They sell it, they teach others, they do all this stuff. And he said, once you make it, no big deal. That's when it occurs. When it, and I think
mhm, mhm,
part of what is true about wanting more for yourself is like if you have this idea that $1 million is going to change your life, then essentially that is your current cap, and it's a journey of getting to that point, and then you feel frustration after a few years when you're like, I'm not even close to my goal. But if you have this idea that $1 million can be created very easily on this planet with how many people need goods and services and my own capacity to serve a market, and really what can be created is more like 100 million, all of a sudden that 0 to 1 million becomes not really a big deal in the grand scheme. And therefore it's easier to attain because you're holding energy, which he didn't really get into the energy part, but you're not holding energy of being open and being more relaxed and being more forthcoming, being more honest instead of grasping and yeah.
and you're talking both are truth.
Yeah.
Bro, both are truths, right? So you're talking this world and this world, the 5D, 3D, right?
Hmm.
In 3D, you're talking linear as, and greed came to my mind. It's like, where is the
Yeah.
greed and how you change the meaning of one word when you operate in the two different dimensions. Greed in material realm is very contracting, meaning you want more of what, and you're chasing all the time. You're in this rush of time and you are fearing and panicking. It's like so contracting. And greed of wanting more, which is endlessly infinite, it disappears by itself. There's no more greed because everything is for everybody. And there's so much abundance of it. You almost don't even have to chase it rather than you're floating on it. And you're allowing it to shape you as it needs to shape. But you're talking about the expansive energy and you're talking about the contracting energy. And both are truth.
Yeah.
Both are very, both are truth. Both are happening.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
However, this is only one for you.
Hmm.
Can I
Say
be
it again.
greedy of my love? Can I just give you this much? Can I ever measure how much I give you?
Hmm.
Yes, I can if I have to pay the bills and you're just paying insurance. If I have to do these chores and you're just doing grocery shopping, right? Yeah, I can. Conditional rather than unconditional. But I love such extremes. They're laughable. And you and I always end up laughing because really it's like, where do I actually grow? Where do I actually enlarge?
Hmm.
Never here. Somehow, never here. This becomes so small compared to my potential, in which I see your potential.
Hmm.
And why wouldn't I want that for you then? Why wouldn't I want your potential for you? There's plenty, there's no edge.
Oh
It's,
yeah. You're still talking about greed. Yeah.
I don't
Or
know, I'm talking about
envy.
the space. I mean, talk about where I enlarge and where I actually have space to evolve rather than here. Yes, I can. It's very, very limited to aim big for material possessions because the moment we place them in form, they're dead. Actually, they're dead.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I get the whole notion of money is energy. And the fact of the matter is that they're paper, dead people on the paper. Oh, we keep forgetting. They're dead. They're long gone. And then we
Hmm.
worship something in the form of material paper. So to me, money is not just what I have own and how expensive it is, but it comes down to if this is what you need in order to open your space inside, then go for it.
Yeah.
Full blown go for it. I need you
Hmm.
there where you expand so endlessly in your own soulful potential that
Hmm.
you cannot help but not contribute in a benevolent way. Out there is a different story we're talking about, different literature.
Hmm. Yeah.
I want to meet you
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
And there's a couple. There's a couple more things like whatever goal you set, desire you have. The unknown part is the part that changes you. So,
Hmm.
right? Like we have an idea of the goal and what it might take to get there. But if that were true, then it would be quite easy to attain. And in the actual attaining of the goal, the unknown is revealed and it becomes known. And it's part of that process. The self grows, evolves, and changes. So, as you said, every goal is valid. But along the way, as you expand, the goals themselves change and eventually largely become meaningless. maybe not entirely without meaning, but just they don't hold as much weight. They don't, you're not as tight around how important it is. And the irony of this concept of when you make it no big deal, it's easier to attain, is that continues when you make it no, and then it just continues like, oh, if you play it out, like how much money would you need to have the dream life, like for anyone that's listening, because I know that you largely are living your dream life to some extent, and I feel that I am living my dream life to some extent.
Yeah, I get it.
Um, but you play it out like, okay, um, and just keeping it on money because it's easy to express it. Say $5 million. I have everything I want. I have savings for a rainy day. I can quit my job. I can just stay at the beach. I can create something. I could make something happen, make a business, do whatever I want. That's not a lot of money. And then you play it out like, hmm. So another part of my dream is I was walking, I was contemplating this ultra marathon, and I heard this guy behind me. He's like, yeah, so I have $613.5 million and I'm thinking about doing, he just was talking and I was hearing it. And normally you like turn around like, oh, someone's practically speaking a billionaire. Like not many of those people. I should get to know them. I should talk to them. I should listen. But in my dream, I was just like, just continued on. I was like, largely, it's meaningless. And it, like, once you have all you need to expand, more is not better. More is actually holding him down because he's got to find something to do with if it is energy and you're trying to trap it, stagnate it, or keep it somewhere, place it here, invest it here, it becomes something that's rooting you down in a way that you're unable to expand.
Mm,
I find this metaphor playing out with a good friend of ours who is a divorce lawyer. He makes great money and he's always buying things. He's always having experiences. He's going to the retreats. He's having personal one-on-ones with very renowned spiritual teachers, very spiritually seeking and then very materially abundant. But this the seeking is almost chronic and there's never really a there doesn't seem to be a lot of integration happening and there's just more and more seeking that occurs. And if you think about your own energy of if you come to life saying like materially this will make me happy, then this will make me happy, then this will make me happy, and then all of a sudden it's just like the hungry ghost, and then you change it to a spiritual realm. Well, once I have enlightenment, and then once I have attainment, and let me do this school of teaching, and yeah, it just goes on and on.
hmm
And you touched on again this paradox of it isn't here now, and then I think it was Ram Dass who brought this to my awareness at least, which is you are here now, now here, and then nowhere. That paradox being that they are the same thing if you touch the essence that's within you, now and here, and also nowhere, the blend, the toric field, all of that. And yet we still talk for 2 hours every podcast.
Right? We exchange. There's so much exchange that happens. There's so much witnessing, holding, being, exploring, daring, you know, that's very much the journey. The journey is just that, like actively practicing being present for whatever that shows up and occurs.
Mm.
And it takes us places, and I love that. And we only have consistency in the book. Literally, the anchor is book, and then we float up, and then we come back, and then we float off, and then come back. And 2 years later, and here's another thing. We thought it's going to be a year. It turns out 2 years. Now it's two studies. Will soon be a couple of years later. And watch, steady, slow, coming back to what does it do? And yet we're
Hmm.
both evolving in our own unique ways.
Yeah.
And that's why I say you only need that one person crazy enough to listen to you,
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
witness you, to be present with you. One person, 1 hour. Slow, patient. Nothing more I trust than the time and space shared with the right person. Besitos. Besitos.
What is besitos?
Kiss. Kisses, kisses.
Oh. Mhm. You say it like I should know. Kids.
Mm. Our next one is on the new year morning. Old year, last
New
year's
Year's Eve.
mornings.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'll see you then.
See you then. Thank you. This has been
Bye.
great.
Yeah. Enjoy. Bye.